right, subscribe to the Minivan Lee Show.
We're new members. And your airplane trip. There you go.
Is it still going?
Today I'm going to answer your questions. I have a lot of new viewers. Welcome. I'm Minivan Lee, and I live in my minivan, and I have lived in a minivan for 8 years now. This is my second minivan. One of you asked me my make and model. Well, it's a Kia Sedona, and it's a 2014. Now, it is a salvage title. Somebody asked me if it's a salvage title, how did I get insurance on it? Well, let me just tell you about salvage title, okay? They're inspected before they can even sell them. They have to go through an official inspection by the government, okay? There's a government agency or department or whatever, and they inspect it. Of course, I can get insurance on it. Now, my VIN number actually does, the VIN number does, it's in such a way that they can just look at it and say, oh, this is a salvage title. It was hit on the passenger front side. Yeah, I found the paperwork in the glove compartment. All the paperwork was already in there with the manual and everything. So I really did get a good view. After I bought it, I discovered it. I had to buy this car quickly because my other, believe it or not, it was a Kia Sedona. It was a 2006. Oh my gosh. And it was just coincidence that I found another Kia Sedona, both of them in Tucson. What I do is I go on Craigslist and I look. Now, a lot of times, let me tell you, a lot of times cars that are listed on Craigslist are actually from dealerships, but they're listing them in a private way and they're showing them at a private home, but they really are run through the dealerships. But here's the best part of it is you're paying less of a price. If it was actually on a lot, it would cost a lot more. They're doing that to get them, sold, get them out of there. A lot of people don't like to go to dealerships like me. What I do is I pay, somebody asked me, well, do you make payments on it? No, I buy cash. I just go cash because they're cheaper that way. And I feel totally safe. A lot of things you don't want to buy on Craigslist. That's scary. But when it comes to a car, I have found it to be a really good deal. Now, I did make fresh cup of coffee. This is my second cup. And I made one for you too, okay? Here you go. There's yours. Here's mine. Cheers. And it's the perfect temperature, so don't be afraid. You won't burn your mouth, okay? Okay? Okay. So those are the questions on my car. It just happened to be another Kia Sedona. And the beauty of it, listen to this, was before I had a 2006, and this one is a 2014. Well, listen to this. Between 2006 and 2014, they're pretty much all the same. It wasn't until 2015 that some of the specs kind of changed. So it was so easy to move from this van into this one. Yes. I mean, it was a hassle. Believe me, it was scary. It was a hassle. For a while, I didn't even have a home. I was parked out in Quartzsite in the middle of BLM land with a couple friends. One of my friends actually drove me down to Tucson because I was looking on Craigslist. I was really scared. I mean, I really was like, what am I going to do? My home, it's not even fixable. I took it to Yuma to a mechanic, and he called me back and he says, please come pick this up. I don't want to deal with this car. It needs a rebuilt engine. He goes, I'm not into that. So it's like even the mechanic, he like dissed my van. Oh my gosh, my lovely home. And so, yeah, it was a scary situation. But within 2 days, I like to get right on things, and I like to make good decisions. And I felt like God was saying, this is okay. Go ahead and take a chance on it. And look, it's like 4 years later, or 3 years. 3 years later, it's still running very, very well. So it was a good, I'm glad I listened. Yeah. Okay, so that's my car issue, and I always pay cash on my cars. I do not want to make payments on my cars. Yeah. I've got my fan going. I hope you don't mind. You know what? I'm in Tucson. and it's warm. I mean, this weather is why everybody comes to Tucson. All the snowbirds come down to Tucson, and this is why. It's going to be like 81 degrees today. That's why I've got sleeveless on. Now I do have my arm gaiters on, and I know a lot of you, if you're new, you're wondering, and even if you're not, you're wondering, what are these things? They almost look like opera gloves, only they don't cover my hand. I've got opera gloves, yes. Okay, so these are called arm gaiters. And the reason I wear them is because of like this. When I'm living in a small space, and just recently it just seems to be happening a lot more, I'm bumping into things because I'm in a small space. So I do bruise easier because I'm older. I'm in my 70s. And yeah, I've got some bruises. Yeah, they're coming back again. There for a while, I didn't have hardly any. Yeah, they're coming. And in the skin, I mean, I'm just going to say, oh, you look so young. My skin doesn't always, especially my arms. This part of your arm is in the sun so much of your life. Let's say it's in the summer, you've got a short sleeve shirt on. This area is in the sun. Your hands and this arm here is in the sun a lot. I mean, you can put a hat on, you can protect your head. But I'll tell you, a lot of times you don't protect your lower arms. They get sun damaged. I've got sun damage on my arms, yeah. In my hands. I mentioned yesterday, I was in construction. And I was in construction for 10 years. I was outside. I did a lot of painting. I was a journeyman painter, but I worked for an architect, so I was doing simple carpentry, things like that. But I did not protect my hands. You remember in the South where the ladies, the plantation ladies, they always had they couldn't go outside without their gloves. And even beyond, I mean, the Southern ladies, they had their gloves on because they knew they wanted to protect their hands. It's hard to hide your hands. Well, your hands show your age. If you look at a woman's hands, you go, oh, okay, now I know how old she is. You can wear makeup, you can do all kinds of things, but your hands, you can't hide your hands. And then, well, you can hide your arms, I suppose, because I am. I hide my arms, but these are called arm gaiters. I want to tell you a story. The other day, it was about a week and a half ago. Oh my gosh. I was driving to a park. It was early in the morning. It was light out, but it was early, like around maybe 7:30 in the morning. It was on a Saturday too. Oh my gosh, yeah. So there weren't that many people on the road. And ahead of me, I was about to turn in to the park. I got there. But ahead of me was a construction type truck with a trailer in the back. Okay? A construction size, I mean a big one, a wheelbarrow. It was turned upside down, came flying off the truck. It made the largest crash and then scraping and scraping. It was, let me just say this. Somebody was looking out for me. Thank you. Because it was at the moment where it would have hit me that I was turning into the park, the entrance. I could have been killed. And, you know, I can't imagine what that would have done to my minivan. So I really want to mention to all of you, and if you're in construction, please, please anchor your equipment down. And, you know, so another couple was here, an older couple, and when I pulled in, I was kind of shaken. And they went over to it, and we both just walked over like, oh my gosh. They said, you could have been killed. I said, I know it. And so we pulled the guy pulled the wheelbarrow and pulled it up off the road. He got it off the road. Well, I was here for a little bit, and I was just kind of hanging out, drinking coffee, which reminds me, I want another sip of coffee. And nobody came back for it. It's a good 20 minutes later, nobody came back for it. Nobody. And you know what? I'm going to just say it. Friday night, it was Saturday morning, so you know Friday night, and some of these construction guys, they're drinking, you know, oh yeah, the brewskis, you know, the beers after work, and he probably was still a little tipsy from the night before. Didn't even faze him. I mean, it was loud. So then one of the maintenance men went around, and in the park system, so that the 2 or 3 parks that I hang out in, which I do hang out in parks. I'm not always in my van, okay? It might seem that way, but I'm not. And he come by, and I knew who he was. I know him by name. I know so many of the park people by name because year after year I come back to Tucson and I hang out. They see me. I put out my hammock. I put out a solar panel. I'm walking around. I'm exercising at the picnic table. So I'm very friendly, and they're very friendly towards me. I feel safe around them. But I knew him, and he goes, "Oh, I see you're back." I go, "Yeah, I'm back." And I said, "Did you see that wheelbarrow there?" And he goes, "No, what happened?" And I told him about it. He goes, "I need a wheelbarrow." He was driving around in one of those little I don't know, like golf carts or whatever that the park system has with a little trailer on the back. And he walked over there, and then he pulled his cart over there, and he hauled it up on his thing, and he went and took it somewhere where he could pick it up, put it on his truck to take it home. It serves the guy right. Didn't anchor down. It was a big used, maybe cement was in it or whatever, but it was huge, and it was heavy. In fact, the older guy who pulled it off the road, I mean, he had to kind of like, turning it over wasn't easy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, I could have got killed. If I wasn't coming to the park, I wouldn't have even pulled in. It was like a symphony, an orchestra, okay? To where it had fallen, and it went boom. It fell up upside down, and then boom, and then it slid. Just as it was sliding, it was about my turn to turn into the park. It was just, when I saw it, I'm holding my breath like, I hope I make it to the entrance of the park. Yeah, it was that close. So yeah, almost got killed by attacked by a wheelbarrow. Almost got attacked. Oh my gosh. So, here's something I want to ask. It can't just be me, but how many of you, let me get some better lighting in here. How many of you are on the highway and you're driving and you're behind a big truck with a load on it? A load. Or a construction truck or something to where you can see what the load is. And do you ever think, I'm behind this, what if that load got loose? I would die. It would come flying at me like wood, big pallets of wood or something like that. I try to get away from them and go around them because I don't want to be behind something like that. Let me know in comments how many of you have ever, do you think about that? Because I do. And I think, okay, if this goes, I'm screwed. Hi. Hi. This is my van. This is my space here. This is my front seat. These are my 3 bins here, my drawers. This is where the passenger seat would go. So this is the area to the back. Okay, you got it? So many of you said, "Where is your bed?" When I did that little van tour 2 days ago. Where's your bed? You didn't show us your bed. Here's my bed. I sleep here. What I do is I transform my minivan into different rooms throughout the day. Like, it'll be my bedroom. And then when I wake up, the first thing I have to do when I wake up is fold up my bed. I've got a video on that. I'm going to leave that at the end. So please watch this video all the way through because at the end, I'm going to leave a link for that video on my bed. But I'll show you in just a second what my bed is all about. So this is my bed. So I have to fold this up first thing in the morning. Well, I might lay there and think about things. And I'm a Christian, so a lot of times I think about God and I'm like, hey, good morning. Thank you for waking me up. Thank you for another day. And I just might lay there for about 5 minutes, think about things. And then once I get up, I need to roll up. I got to roll everything up and put it away. Otherwise, I can't move around because my bed literally does take this whole area. But I love it. It's very cozy. I've got these to protect me here. And I've got this, and I've got my little cup holder. I can drink my tea at night, and I make tea, sleepy time. Or I have my own herbs that I make, like lemon balm, catnip, things like that. I make tea, right? I use my tea ball. And yeah, but then so I roll it up. And then what I do is then I get dressed and just kind of batten things down just a little bit. And then I hop in the driver's seat, take my window coverings down, and I drive. And I drive away from my night parking spot. I have a night parking spot, and then during the day, I go to parks. Yeah, that's mainly what I do. And I've got different parks around town that I like to visit, okay? I can walk around, or I can sit in my van and I feel safe and I can see people. I can people watch, things like that. Let me get a little closer. So that's really my schedule. And so once I get to where a park, then I come back here. Then it becomes my barista. I know. And then I make my coffee. Yeah. And I sit here and I read, I usually spend time, I call it coffee with God, and I read scripture and say prayers, things like that, right? Check social media, check the news, stuff like that. So it becomes really my morning breakfast nook. But then, like during the day becomes my living room. And I've got a table where I can write, put my laptop on it. But let me show you the bed. I'm just giving you kind of a rundown on how I live in my minivan. Look at the color. Oh my gosh, yes. Hello flower. Yeah, I do like these flowers. I like the yellow, okay? And I'm gonna get a sip of this. Let me put this away. This is my famous tray. I love it. It's got a nice lip to it so things don't spill out, things like that, and it can protect my floor. So here we go. These are my pillows. Let me move these. There we go. Okay. Here's my sleeping bag. It's a minus 25 sleeping bag. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it's such a low number, minus 25. The rating goes that if it's minus 25 degrees, I won't die. I won't be comfortable, but I won't die. So I do like minus 25. You can get minus 35, but they're made different. They're thicker, and the outside is actually canvas and not this. So it would be really hard to fit it in here. I don't think I would like to sleep on canvas. Now, what I do is I sleep on top of this. I don't get in it. Why? Because, I don't know, I really don't like sleeping in a sleeping bag. It's got to be really cold. The last time I slept inside my sleeping bag, it was like 18, maybe 19 degrees. Yeah. It was cozy. It was comfortable. I can leave the link for it. It's a Teton minus 25 sleeping bag. And it's not the mummy type. That would drive me insane. I hate my feet to be confined or my legs. Ugh, I don't like it. I don't like it. So it's a long and it's wide. It's a wide one. So yeah, if I have to sleep inside of it, then I can. But I don't like to. So what I do is I sleep on top of it. Now, I have a lot of padding. I've got an actual carpet. I've got 4 blankets under here. Why do I have the blankets? Because I want to keep the blankets, but I don't want to use them. I might need them for something. So I figured I'll just lay on top of them. It doesn't hurt anything. It gives more padding. They're really nice blankets. They're like from Mexico. The really not the cheap ones, but they were expensive, nice ones. And then I've got towels under here. Now this towel here, I shake out every day. I shake it out, hair, whatever. It's like vacuuming my van, right? So I shake it out. And so I've got these, I don't think you see, but they're memory foam rugs. I got 1, 2, and 3. I got one right here. So when I crawl around on my knees, I've got so much padding down there. I really do. So this is where I keep my bedding. Now this right here is very important. These are rolled up towels. I used to have a lot of towels, and I'll tell you why. Because I used to have different color schemes. As you can see, it's like turquoise, and yeah. I used to have different color schemes going on with towels. So I had sets that I could lay down. Well, I kind of like what I have now. So I didn't want to get rid of my towels, and I thought, so I had them in my storage, and I thought, well, you know what? I could use this and just make a padding out of it. What I did was I laid them all just one on top of the other perfectly. And then what I did was I folded it, like I folded it once, then folded it another time, and it fits right here. So when I take this out, when I'm getting ready to make my bed and pull out my bed, I lay this down first. I just roll out, boom, boom. It's like that thick. I've had people say, well, why don't you just get a self-inflating pad or whatever? Well, I've got this because I got them. I'm going to use them up. I'm just going to use them. I don't need to buy anything else. I like to be frugal. And so I have this. Towels are always useful when you're living in a van. So I lay that out first. Then I pull out my sleeping bag. Now I have these little felt little ropes that I made. I made these. Yeah, I cut them. Just to hold it in place when I shove it in there. It fits right in here. And I roll it out. And then I've got a sheet under here, and I tuck in my sheet, pull out my blankets and my pillows. That's where I put my bed just folds out, and I'll leave the link exactly. It shows me pulling it out and then putting it all back. I'll leave the link for that. That's my bed. That's my bed. I love it. And I just fold it back up. Now let's say it's in the afternoon, and you know, us older folk, every once in a while we want to take a nap. I've had days like that. It doesn't happen often, but I've had days where I just feel, whew, I'm sleepy. I'm maybe watching a program and I just feel like I'm kind of nodding off. Well, sitting here and I'm just sort of nodding off. All I do to take a nap, put my pillows here, put this down. I just take a nap. And what I do is, because I've got this here, I just prop up my phone right there, and I can lay here and take a nap. A good quickie nap. I've been known to take, if it's really tired. I mean, if I'm really tired, I could sleep. I wake up a good hour and a half later. Yeah. So that's my bed situation. I have so many more questions to answer, but this is a good start. Most of you wanted to know about my bed. I'm going to mention more about this bed, okay? I know this is long, but I'm telling you, I have so many of you tell me, well, I couldn't do that. I don't have good knees. I wouldn't be able to deal with that. I'm older, and I got this issue and I got that issue. Let me tell you something. By doing it this way, what you're doing is you're helping yourself physically. Now, I know some of you absolutely wouldn't be able to do it. But if you would want to give it a try, it's going to keep you younger. It really is. This is so comfortable. It's so good to be on more of a firm surface, when you sleep. And I can do side to side. I mean, I've got this much room. This is as big as a twin bed would be. And because I have to move around, I'm constantly moving around, and I'm going this way. I'm sitting this way. I'm sitting this way. And I'm moving around all the time. This is keeping my body young, okay? Because if I'm just on a bed and I'm laying down, I just turn over, put my feet down, and stand up. Well, when you're down on the floor, you have to get up and you have to move around more. Just sitting on the couch, your feet are just down and you just lift up and okay. But if you sat on the floor in your living room, it would take a lot more to get up. Those are the things that keep you young. That's food for thought for everybody. And when I lived in a house, I had a futon, I had a couch, I had a chair, but I also had a futon in my living room. And I did it because my kids loved it, my grandkids, and when my children were young, I've been a kind of a futon kind of gal. And I would sit on there too. You can fold up the futons in such a way to make it like a little couch. But the futons, if I had baby grandkids and I was watching them, at least I knew they weren't going to fall off the futon. You know what I'm saying? I could watch them and I didn't have to keep running down it and hope they don't fall off my bed and hurt themselves. And they could crawl around on the futon. Oh my gosh, they could play, they could pretend like it was their little boat, things like that. So, but a lot of times I would sit on the futon myself and then I would get back up. I'd have to get up, right? Right, down. Think about that. If you're constantly getting yourself up and down, think of the exercise you're getting as opposed to just sitting on the edge of a bed and all you do is lift up. You just lift up and then walk around, sit back down. Yeah, when you get out of bed, you just lean your feet over and then get up. But if you're on the floor, you've got a lot more exercise going on. So I'm just saying that my system is keeping me young. That's one of the reasons that people have said, I've seen your older videos. Why do you look younger now? It's like you're reversing. I'm just saying that this lifestyle, no matter what anybody wants to say about it, is keeping me young. And it can keep you young too. I love you guys. I do. I do love you. Please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And go to Amazon, type in Minivan Lee to see my books. And I've got 2 of them now. 1 more coming pretty soon, next month. And yeah. Okay, so until tomorrow, I love you tomorrow. I actually don't have a bad voice, but I do have to practice it. So maybe at some point I'll sing you a Christmas song or something. I love you guys. You guys have a really good day. Good things are coming your way. Good things are coming my way. 6 words. I want you to say that to yourself every day. Good things are coming my way. See your life change. Okay? Bye.